Okay, so this is going to be a quick overview for the end users that are interacting with the Copilots as they're navigating through and using Salesforce. As you can see here, we're in Classic and we are on the home page. There are three areas that we impact the home page in Classic. Sidebar component, then we have a global feed, what we call an object feed, and then what we call a global broadcast. The left navigation sidebar component is not going to be relevant for Lightning, but again, it is for, and we feel it's significant for Classic users. We feel like this is a perfect parking place for tips or guidance for how to do things that, or how to perform functionality that exists all the way across or globally across Salesforce. So regardless of what object you're on, things like how to create a list view, how to search in Salesforce, installing Salesforce for Outlook. These are tips where the user is proactive and they're going to go here looking. They might be searching for that functionality so they can get that here instead of searching across Google. I'll go ahead and click on a link. As you can see here, this Visual Force page opens up. Actually, when you create this type of pop-up, you have control over managing the size of the window when it opens up. The user that created this one just didn't bother customizing it. But as you can see here, I have a pop-up Visual Force page. I can move this around. I could put this on my other screen if I have two screens and just follow the instructions. The content itself, this was simply copied and pasted here. It has text, image, and rich text. And anytime you see the thumbs up or the thumbs down, what that means is the user can click on to give feedback to the creator of that content. And now the creators of your content can actually run reports and review feedback so that they can constantly improve and perfect the content that their users are interacting with. Right? Also, because this is on the homepage component, this content can be controlled as to who can view it. It can be controlled by assigning these components to a page layout. Also, a step deeper than that, I can control who sees this based on their profile. I can assign it to, even if let's say you have one global page, home page layout, I can refine visibility by choosing profile and or role and or groups. So again, user can move this around. When they're done with it, simply close it. The next area is what we call the Copilot Feed, the object feeds. Right here, I can see that I have multiple feeds, and a feed is any object, any standard or custom object. I can create criteria and define what data is visible on this page here. So in this case here, I can navigate across an account feed, contact, leads, literally any object. And so our customers like this because it's a way to give recognition to specific accounts or specific people based on what's important in your organization. And in a second, I'll go and I'll show how this information, how this data was assigned to this page. So in this section here is under what we call the content pilot, the Copilot homepage. This is a broadcast area. Things like, some organizations like to use it to publish like the quote of the day, the joke of the day. It could be for distributing organizational messages. We have a company on the East Coast. They use it for emergency broadcasting. When there was on the East Coast, there was some severe weather emergencies, and this was a way to broadcast not to come into the office and actually work from home. And again, you can relegate this data based on the homepage layouts, based on profile, role, and groups. We've seen companies publish stuff like birthdays, calling out birthdays to employees all over the organization. For informing employees of holidays, reminder that Memorial Day is coming up and what those days off were. Reminding people for Salesforce outages. You got global updates, and so logging messages. The Salesforce is not going to be operational from midnight to 2 a.m. on your next rollout. So a great place for parking that kind of information. So again, sidebar component, opportunity, custom and standard object feeds, and then global broadcast. When I navigate over to my standard or custom objects and I interact with a record, this is a demo site, so we're going to show multiple different types of copilots that your users will interact with. This first copilot is what we call an alert. This is an aggressive copilot, and we call it aggressive because you see this message is right square and center on the page. This user, see if I'm actually trying to click on the record back behind here. This takes over the page, and so what's that's forcing the user to do is engage with this message here. This is what we call aggressive, and it's ideal for critical information. We have customers, let's say they have what they call our white glove customers with their special handling. So in the background, some criteria was defined that says, hey, here's an important message about this account. They're past due, or they're white glove, or our executive team's going out to see them. Here's what it could just be some specific instructions on how to handle this account. And every one of these co-pilots can be controlled by a published start date, a published end date. It can just be specific criteria that is any combination of values across the account detail or the lead detail or the custom object detail. Again, it can be based on the profile. It could be based on role, based on group. In other words, you and I could be looking at this same page, at this exact same record, but because we have different profiles or different groups or different roles, then I may not see it and you might see it, right? But so now I read this message here, so it's going to address me by my name. There's the identification of what the Copilot ID is, and it requires you to acknowledge the following information. This account is past due. Please advise the accounts payable department that we need a signed approval to run additional credit check. So once I'm done with that message, I can click over here and now I can begin to engage with the record. Now, because this is a demo site, I have more pop-ups that are showing from this aggressive pop-up. We consider this a pop-up copilot, and we call it semi-aggressive because again it pops up in your face. I clicked it away accidentally. It pops up. It's in your face. Again, I can move it to another page or move it around to wherever I need it to. But when I'm done, I click out. All right. This section right here is where we store our passive copilot. We call it passive because, as you see, you might, if you're an organization that allows your users to expand or collapse these sections, okay, we store this in a Visualforce inline page. And again, it stores text, it stores images, right? And actually, again, this is a demo. You can see the scroll bar over here. I have lots of different copilots that are affecting this record here. And now the size and like the height of this Visualforce inline page can be controlled by you. Again, this is a demo site. It's not beautiful, but the purpose is just to show you the different types of copilots that your users can interact with. So you control the content, you can control the conditions for the records that it will appear on. Okay. Again, when you see the thumbs up and thumbs down, in this case here, let's say I'm a user, I'm not real happy with this content here, so I did a thumbs down, and so now I can just enter my comments. I don't believe this is relevant. event anymore. Okay, so when I click that, now our team, you know, and the primary people that are going to be content creators, managers, power users, department heads, directors, people that want to drive process, people that just have that really understand the process of what should happen and when, the condition and when that whatever it is should happen. The other type of Copilot we have is called our Copilot button. This is very passive in that it requires the user to be proactive as they go out and look for this information here. So this button here, I have to go and click that. And again, I can see multiple different Copilots and the ability to be thumbs up or thumbs down. When I do a thumbs up, I don't get a comment window, but when I do a thumbs down, I can. And I'm going to click on all these because I'm going to go and show you a report too, or show you where that information resides. So again, we have a couple of passive Copilots, and then in the inline and the button, and then we have the more aggressive Copilots, the in-your-face alert, and then the pop-up. Okay. Now, if I go to my Salesforce app drop-down menu, you're going to see Copilot here, and what we're going to do here is show you what it's like to create a Copilot. Okay, so you can see there's a whole list of Copilots in this demo org. So let's say I want to create, let's just go ahead and take a look at one. Let me see that one, opportunities. That's some, do I have opportunities in here? So, no, but I'll just go to the feeds because we did an opportunity or the recognition. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So here's what it looks like in the raw after it's been created. Actually, if I look up here in the upper right navigation, I can see likes and dislikes. So your users who are creating content can come and actually look at the feedback, and that data is all going to be stored right here. But let me just go ahead and throw this in edit mode. And you see for every piece of Copilot content, you can categorize it. This is really for reporting. And you can customize this list and remove or add to whatever values you want in this section right here. There's a start and end publish date. So you have a specific promotion you're doing in leads, and you have some incentives for your users. You can start it on one date, end it at another. Right here is where I identify the target recipients. I can select all by default or specify a profile and or a group and or a role. As I'm building the content, I might have it in draft version. Ultimately, I'm going to publish it. Then if the stars align and the publish dates match and the status is published, then the content will show. So this was that opportunity feed. So you can see these are the columns that were selected, and here's how it was defined. I want the sort order to be based on the amount in descending or ascending order. And I control how many records are visible in that feed. If I click on Save and Next, here's where I see the criteria. So that particular feed was showing where the amount is greater than, looks like 75,000, the stage equals closed 1, and the quarter closed equals Q1 2018. Let me see, we have some, okay, so we have 1 and 2 and 3 or 4. So show me all the opportunities over $75,000 and they were closed in Q1 or Q2 of 2018. Okay, so that's what it's like for the user's interaction. If I just go click on leads, I'm going to see the same thing. I click on a lead record, and then based on the criteria, I have another, what we call an aggressive alert. Charlotte Copilot 0161 requires you to acknowledge the following information. Workout agreement with mobile partner, sell Wi-Fi to choice hotels today, due date today. Okay, so just, again, this is a demo site. But again, when the record is launched, our Copilot is evaluating criteria. If this particular record matches criteria that's storing a Copilot, then based on the type of alert that that user is deploying, then that's what this user will see. And what we're seeing look at this right here. This is a great example. I'm glad I came to this. So we have customers that are using this in replace of validation rules, because users tend to believe that validation rules are too stringent and they don't necessarily work in the order that the users do. They don't collect data in the user that validation rule wants you to. A lot of times what we've seen are the users just end up parking data on a record just to be able to close and save and close that record. So by using the Copilot as a validation rule engine, then so you are missing the employee field. Please get that from the customer in your next conversation. So where's the employee field? So let's say I'm on the phone with this particular customer right now, and I determine that there are 347 employees. I click on save, and now that is going to go away. See, so that other piece of data went away. So now, you're missing the industry field. Please get the following info from this customer. So industry field. Now let's wait. This is an apparel company. I click on save, and now that piece of data is gone. But you see this other alert continues to pop up because the criteria is still relevant, but this is no longer relevant. So that's a real cool feature that a lot of our customers love. So that's it for right now. If you want to see more and you want to see a demo specific to your organization, you have more questions, just go onto our website, fill out a form, and request a demo. www.crmguidance.com. Go on the upper right navigation, go to our App Exchange apps, and select Copilot, and you'll see a form there. Thanks a lot for spending time looking at this, and we welcome your feedback, and we'd love to hear from you.